Guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode number 2 of the Derby Crow Road Live. And to start with this episode, if you did miss the last episode, make sure you do go back and watch that now. We did make a number of signings, also bringing in our pre-contracts, which were the main aspect of the transfer business. But we also made our most biggest signing of all time, which was Harry Maguire. So very different team now this season, and I'm kind of tempted to wait until we've played a few games at the start of the season. Then we can judge what we properly need, and then we can decide from there. But kicking it off, I just thought I'd show you some of the transfers going down throughout the world. Now, when I see that deal for Azpilicueta at 30 mil, when we paid 28 for Maguire, I feel we could have got Azpilicueta, and that would have been a very good player. But then you got to consider what was his wages like. So maybe a Maguire, that's kind of what we needed. We needed a player to win headers. So we're just going to quickly head through these. As you can see there, Maguire for 28 million. We could have potentially got Gundogan, but again, the wages were probably quite a bit different. Marko Arnautovic there going to Marseille for 23 million. Pretty decent transfer. Bakayoko to Leicester for 23. And then we got Orban from Leipzig to Man United for 20 mil. Acuna to Wolfsburg for 20. We'll just have a look at some of these better ones, such as Nico Barella, a player I was tempted to get and actually has a really good potential, around like 89 or 90, so he's pretty good this year. Now, his player I added in between the two episodes, and then I realised he's moved to Borussia Mönchengladbach for only 15 million. I know probably quite a few people are doing this with Jadon Sancho at the moment on career mode, just signing him because he's got such a good potential. But that would have been quite an interesting one, especially with the kind of squad we've got at the minute, with it being so young. But I think that's about it for all the transfers, really. I don't think there's anything else that really sticks out. Someone did suggest Aaron Moy to sign again. Unfortunately, he did move to Ajax, and I can't actually sign him now, so a little bit of a shame, but that's football. At times, you're not going to get every single transfer you look for, and that way we can look for other players. So let's head into the transfer hub now. We did add a few players in between the two episodes, so hopefully these players that I've added will just be a little bit better and a little bit more useful. So straight away we got this Bardi guy here from Levante in the Spanish league, Macedonian nationality. Apparently he's really good. Never heard of him before, but he's got his scanned face, so that's quite nice. We'll have to wait for his scout report to come back. £28 million release clause, but the thing is with the Spanish league, they all have release clauses which are generally about double the actual value of the player, so hopefully he's around 15 million. Now, this is one of the release clauses I found, which looks incredible, for Augustin Rossi at 8.8 million for a 23-year-old goalkeeper who's around 75 with about an 85 potential. I think that could be a very good goalkeeper option for us without the need to really negotiate, because, well, we just pay the release clause. It's as simple as that. We also have Dean Henderson here. We did actually scout him last year, but obviously the scout reports had to be refreshed now. So, again, I'm kind of reluctant to sign players like Dean Henderson, quite obvious ones and quite easy to do. I like to go something like this Rossi guy. I don't think many people have gone for this guy. Also here, Alberto Seri from Juventus, was on loan at Cagliari last season. 6'4", very good target man. But again, we're going to just have to wait for the scout report. We also have Kishner here. I think he's got 12 months left on his contract, so we'll probably get him for around 4 mil, maybe a bit lower than that if we are lucky. We also have this Kumanasic. Is that his name? Well, you can see his name. It's right there on the screen. 6'3", again, a bit like Seri. Slightly older, probably more developed, but again, would be quite cheap. We also have this Dani Olmo here from Dynamo Zagreb. He is currently being offered a deal at Leicester, so if we were going to get him, we're going to have to kind of think about it quite quickly, and he does look quite decent indeed. But I think it's kind of in between Olmo and Bardi, who I look for, because they're both quite similar-esque style players. We also have Ollie Watkins here from Brentford, very good indeed, and just keeps with that English vibe we've got at the minute, quite young as well, at 23 years old, and can play. He's essentially a better Mason Bennett. That's basically what Ollie Watkins is. So I'm going to make the decision: do we keep Mason Bennett or do we go for Watkins? We also have a few more players here. We've got Iheanacho from Leicester. We'll have a look and see if we can get him for a decent price. I wouldn't mind a Kelechi Iheanacho because he's a very good player that hasn't really been used that much at Leicester. Like when he was at City, I know you've got players such as De Bruyne and Silva setting you up, so it does make it a lot easier, but I think the few chances that he's had at Leicester, he's actually done quite well. Now we've got a few old players here in Rooney and De Rossi, who are both quite cheap in wages, and for one season, I wouldn't mind the gamble. We've got Milner, unfortunately, who is retiring at the end of the season, so I think it's kind of nice to have a bit of a balance between old and young. So yeah, we'll think about it. I don't know about Rooney because his stats aren't exactly amazing, but at the same time would be kind of useful. So in between the two episodes, we did do a bit of training, so we simulated a few days, and we did get a couple of transfer bids here for a number of our players. We got one from Jack Merritt. I think I rejected this one straight away. Again, just don't want to sell him. He's one of our most valuable players. And yeah, we've got a deal here for Chris Martin. Now, he was quite decent last season, but I think in the Premier League, it's just that next level that he's just not quite going to compete at. He did essentially, in a way, get us promoted. He did score 3 goals, actually, in the playoffs, so very useful indeed for us in that end. But I think we're going to go accept that. We can obviously, we've got a number of target men on our shortlist at the minute, so if we can potentially improve our target man, that'll be quite good. We also have a deal for Joe Ledley. We did accept one in the last episode, but unfortunately it did break down, so we're going to have to accept another one. Again, we can sell him for like 1.3 mil, and we can improve quite nicely. So let's have put a £16 million bid in for Olmo, and I think without knowing his real stats and what kind of player he is, I don't really want to put that kind of big bid in at the minute, because it would kind of remove all of our transfer budget, leaving us pretty much like the thing is, we don't really need that kind of player. I think attacking midfielder we're quite well suited with. It's more of a defensive midfielder. Interest shown for Jordan Ibe as well, 9 million from Freiburg. I think at 9 mil for a 73, maybe 75 rated player, I just don't think that's quite. I don't think that's quite worth it. So we're gonna have a look at the calendar quickly. We're probably gonna get up to the first leg game against Zurich in the Europa League. Obviously, we do need to win these 2 games to qualify for the Europa League. And then we'll get a load of fixtures filled in pretty much every Thursday, which does make quite a good argument for not signing one big player and actually going for a few players, because we're going to need that squad depth. So let's head to our first Premier League game of the season at the Britannia against Gary Rowett. A good way to start off the season, of course, against an old foe. Obviously, we're going to go into the team management. I think this is essentially the lineup I'm going to go for. I've gone for Ampadu at centre-back. What I realised is I don't think Tomori's going to work at centre-back. With his jumping only being 61, I don't know how he's going to work there, because with heading being such a dominant factor this year, 61 jumping just isn't good enough. And I think if we're going to use Tomori at centre-back, we're going to have to train that somehow. Here we are then, first Premier League game of the season. Now, in the past, last year, there was a bit of a copyright issue, and I don't know if it still is a thing. I don't know if EA have addressed that or not, so I'm going to skip the intros just in case. If we do get any bans, we don't really want that to happen, because it's just a lot of hassle. So yeah, let's have a look at the Stoke City lineup. They've gone for a 4-3-3 with Acosta in goal, Cedric from Southampton at right back, Bruno Martins, Indy, Shawcross and Tymon in the defence, Etebo, Ndai and Joe Allen in the middle, James McLean on the left and Tommins on the right, the former Derby County man, and Benakofobi up top. They haven't exactly improved too much. Obviously, Acosta in goal. I don't know where Jack Butland's gone. And Cedric at right back seems their only changes. And we've basically changed quite a bit. We've gone for Simon in goal from the start. I thought, let's see how he does in the Premier League, and hopefully does a little bit better. We've got Harry Maguire and Ampadu, the new centre-back combination. Hendrick and Milner again, new players, Munayin and Pato up top. So I really don't know what's going to happen in this game. It's the first of many, and let's hope it starts well. Corner into the box flicked on. It's not quite cleared though, but Ampadu's there to find out. It's Jeff Hendrick. I think again with Ampadu, he's a little bit younger, so he's going to grow a bit better. Chance here for Mount. A great ball through from James Milner. Can we get the early start? Yes, we can. Mason Mount with our first Premier League goal of the season against Stoke City. Going to have him on a 2-year long loan now, so I think in terms of development we can just basically grow him to whatever rating we want, because by the time that 2-year loan comes to the end, I think we'll have pretty much infinite money, so I don't think it'll be much of an issue. But a great ball through for there from James Milner, and just as good as a finish from Mount. Was going to go for Wilson. I was tempted to put Mount a bit deeper, but I think in this right attacking midfielder position he could be quite effective in the Premier League. Ball out to Mount. Can he get an assist for us in the game? It's gone into the near post to Pato with the shot, saved by the keeper very nicely. Not too sure how he prevented that goal there. That's a great ball down the line from Bogle into Mason Mount. Can he find something into the middle to Pato? He's in the box. Can he get the shot off? Yes, he can. Alexander Pato making it 2 in the 26th minute against Stoke with his first goal for the club, and hopefully the first of many. And I'm really liking the squad. I don't know if it's because Stoke are so poor, but yeah, I'm finding it very nice indeed, this team. I must say, James Milner in the middle is ridiculous. Saying he's 33 years old, he's dropped a couple of ratings. He's still pretty good. Ball out to Munayin. Can he get a decent delivery into the box? He is right-footed, so you kind of have to whip it back in. But Pato's there with the finish to make it 3-0 in the first half. And I don't know what we need to sign. That's basically what I'm going to say. We've not really been tested defensively, so can't really say any question marks. But attacking-wise, like, that is a great ball from Munayin, literally on the line of the 6-yard box. Pato there with the first-time finish to make it 3-0, and there's the 3 points. First game of the season. Ball into the box. Stoke with the first goal, and pretty much their first shot. That's what I was trying to say there. But I'm not too sure who is the defensive problem there. Kind of a good ball inside there from Joe Allen. Went inside the fullback, and then I don't know if it's Ampadu or Maguire on that left-hand side. I think it's Maguire, so I think he kind of got dragged out of position. But it's only a consolation goal. I doubt they're going to get anything back from the game. Chance here for Mason Mount to get a second goal. Can he have the composure to find the back of the net? Yes, he can. 4-1 against Stoke. 2 goals for Mount and 2 goals for Pato. If we could get one of them to get a hat-trick in their very first Premier League appearance, then that'd be quite a nice thing just to finish the game off. But whether we get it or not, I'm not too fussed, because it's been pretty much a perfect performance, other than that one goal, which I couldn't. It was probably quite good from Stoke, to be fair. Harry Wilson here bringing it forwards. If I can just slide it into Pato. Chance here for Mount to get the hat-trick. There we go. Mason Mount on his Premier League debut makes it 5-1. And do we need to sign anything? Probably not. Maybe a goalie, just to stop that one goal from going in. Maybe a centre, I don't know. But no, that's pretty perfect. I was trying to get it into Pato's path, but just couldn't quite do it. But landed perfectly for Mason Mount to get his hat-trick on his first Premier League appearance for the club. And let's hope Chelsea don't recall him. I don't think it's an option on career mode, but sometimes on like Football Manager, if a player does really well on loan, they do get recalled. Can we get Pato his hat-trick? It's a poor touch from Shawcross with the shot, hits the post. And there we go, full-time against Stoke City. Hat-trick for Mount, 2 goals for Pato. I don't know what to say, really. I really don't know what to say, because I genuinely felt that, was that even on ultimate difficulty, were we just playing out of our normal range, maybe? I don't know, but I genuinely thought that was like an amateur game or something. It just felt so easy just to run at them and score goals. But let me quickly check that the difficulty is definitely on ultimate, and there you go. What more can I do? I could fiddle with what I've actually done with user. I've actually changed the injury frequency, because I felt we just didn't get enough injuries last season. So I think just to make it a little bit more interesting, we'll move that. But we haven't actually done anything with the CPU, because I felt last season it was pretty close. So first game of the season, we're not going to judge it on one performance. We are top of the Premier League. We have basically won the league on day one. I'm not too sure why we've played a game on a Friday and everyone else is playing on a Saturday and Sunday. Oh, yeah, they did that actually, to be fair. It was Leicester against Man United this season. But yeah, interesting that we kicked off the Premier League with a very first win, 5-1. There we go, we have sold Jared Ledley for 1 million. Obviously 1.3 was the actual figure, but we only get the million. We also have a bid here for George Evans, so I'm thinking we sell both of these two, because Evans just didn't play that much last season. So we're going to go... Do I negotiate just to get an extra 100k? I think we just sell him. I think 1.2 mil, that's a pretty decent price. And that way we can just get rid of these players that are below 70 rated and get a bit more quality. Just looking at our transfer hub then, we are starting to get some scout reports back, kind of. But I felt the only thing we kind of missed was like a Ronaldo Vieira. Like a big, bulky midfielder, quite pacey, almost like a Pogba, basically. That's kind of what I want. I don't know if we've got anything else of that style in here, because I felt we, at times, just didn't quite compete with those midfielders. I think Tom Kearney's quite tall, but not he's a bit more of a flair player, not quite defensively as strong. I'm kind of tempted to sign Matti Vidra, just because we need another striker, I think. I think with Winnall, Pato and Marriott, and then on the bench we've got Bennett and somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I think we just need like a big midfielder. Maybe Will Hughes. I know he's not very strong, but he's quite big in height. I think I'm going to just wait for the time being until we get those scout reports back. But yeah, maybe something like Vieira. I know he's not the best rating at only 72, but he's still got pretty good stats, to be fair. Only 5'10" though. I kind of want someone that's at least 6 foot, just to have that option in the midfield, basically. We have just had a match rescheduled because obviously we will be in the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's Arsenal getting into the Champions League. But yeah, we've got a transfer offer here from Fenerbahce for Tomori, which is quite a bit of money, like 4 mil for him, when I'm not too sure what we're going to be able to do with with him only having 61 jumping, which just isn't anywhere near what his ability is in real life. He's probably got like at least 80 realistically, so we're gonna reject it for now. Hopefully, I didn't actually have a look if there's any training session where you can improve training, because if we can do that, he's basically perfect. Into the next game then. Next game then against West Ham. Then we do have a game against Newport. Very interestingly, on the Tuesday when we have Europa League on the Thursday. Very tight indeed now, because that Arsenal fixture also 2 days after the Zurich game. I think depending on which one of these is the home game, I think we'll play quite a weak team for that Newport game anyway. And then maybe, yeah, I think we play our first team in that game, rest them for that game, play them in that game. So we'll see when we get there. Into the game then at West Ham. It is our first home game of the season. It's a bit of a shame that the third kit isn't there. Just you know, most Premier League teams do have the option for the third. I think for this game, it kind of makes sense to go with that away kit, just because obviously we'll play with the home in the other one, so we'll go for that. Here we are then at Pride Park against West Ham. Probably going to be a bit more of a better judgment of what the difficulty really is in the Premier League. And yeah, looking at their team, they've gone for the 4-2-3-1. Fabianski, who we were looking at in goal, DeMarcos, Balbuena, Reed and Creswell, then Sanchez and Noble in the middle, Mikel Antonio, the former Forest man, on the right, and Felipe Anderson on the left. Emmanuel Fernandez and Lucas Perez up top. Obviously, they did sell Marko Arnautovic, so not quite as good as a team, but still, if you compare it with ours, it's probably a similar calibre. You've got like your Felipe Anderson, we've got our Munayin, they've got their Mark Noble, we've got our James Milner. On to Munayin, pretty much last attack of the first half. It's gone into the back post to Mount with the header, perfectly timed. And Mason Mount with the last kick of the game, well, last head of the game of the first half to make it 1-0. Very good start to the Premier League for this young man, making it pretty easy for us, I must say. He's helped out a ton on that right-hand side. But that's the thing, like, Munayin's got that ability to cross the ball pretty much on anyone's head. And even Mason Mount, who can't really head, kind of got probably lucky with the time finishing. But yeah, that's probably a deserved goal for us in this first half. Free kick here for West Ham then, 50th minute on the clock. Cyprian going to take it over the bar and, well, underside of the bar and into the back of the net. It is the... where does Cyprian play? Does he still play at Nice? Obviously in this career mode he's moved to West Ham. And yeah, it was a very good free kick. We did jump the wall as well. Oh no, we didn't. Maybe if we jumped the wall we would have saved that. I'm pretty sure I pressed Y, but it's going to go down as a Simon and goal, which is interesting, but clearly a very good free kick. Maybe we need to get our free kick specialist on in Harry Wilson. Free kick here for West Ham then. Obviously they did score from the last one. It's gone back into the back post and it is in the back of the net. Seems like set pieces is a bit of an issue for us, as yeah, they've made it 2-1 now. I'm not too sure who the player is who's actually scored the goal. It is Chicharito, the biggest tap-in merchant in the Premier League in the last few years, has made it 2-1. I didn't really think it was a free kick, to be frankly honest, and Malone just flicking it on there with a poor header, and the Mexican is there to make it 2-1 to them. It is Baselli, the number 14, who's actually quite decent from the Serie A. He's made it 3-1 there. Again, like Tomori should be right back. I brought him on for Bogle because Felipe Anderson was ripping him a new one. I don't know what really we need to buy defensively. It clearly is what end we need to do something with because we're creative. It's just I think we kind of need basically a ball-winning midfielder. I think we basically need a Kante or a Pogba-esque midfielder who can just win the ball off them quite nicely. But we got a penalty there. That's a free kick. Chance for us to get something into the back post, obviously with Slabhead on the pitch. He's a pretty decent winner of the ball. Also, Winnall is quite good at winning the ball in the air. Has got like 91 jumping. And we may have a chance. That's here for Wilson to get a delivery into the box. Second chance of the cherry. Winner by Pato. There we go. We do get the goal to make it 3-3 in added time. We've done well to come back from a 3-1 deficit. And as I said, attacking wise, I'm more than happy. I think defensively it's just something that we need to look at. I don't know about squad depth as well in the attacking areas. If you take Pato out of the equation, you take Munain or Mount out of the equation, it could be something very different. So it's whether I think something like Vidra would be quite useful just because he can play out wide or down the middle. And there we go, full time against West Ham. We do rescue the point in the last few minutes. I think it's definitely defensive that we need to look at to improve because we kind of only brought in Harry Maguire so far, and I'm more than happy with him. I think maybe a fullback, probably a left back, just because Scott Malone, I think he tired quite a bit towards the end of that game. West Ham also just signing the Volland, obviously very good from Bayer Leverkusen. Quickly going to have a look to see if we can do anything with Tomori in terms of jumping. So it looks like you can't actually improve jumping in the training sessions, so I think we're going to have to kind of leave Tomori at right back, which is a bit of a shame because I would quite like to use him at centre back, but I don't think with 61 jumping realistically it's not going to work for us, so we're going to have to reassess really. Obviously Wisdom I think has got about 87, maybe even 90 jumping, so I don't have an issue with his jumping ability. It's more Tomori, so a little bit of a switch, obviously a bit of a shame, but that's football. It'd be kind of cool if you could do this with just the base game, like if you could change what the colours were on each of these tabs, maybe get a different background, just to make it different really, just something that EA could quite easily implement, but they haven't, obviously, maybe because of the licensing with Europa League and the Champions League, that's why they haven't. But nevertheless, I think we're going to wrap up the episode here, just because 6 goals in that game and 6 goals in the first game. I think we've had more than enough content for you guys to show, and I think I kind of need to go back to the drawing board in terms of what we need to sign, because I think it's something defensive, that's for sure, because I think we're a little, like, conceding 3 goals against West Ham, it just shouldn't really happen. And with Martin and Evans also going, there's definitely an option for a striker. I think we do need a backup striker. I think if one of these two gets injured or doesn't perform, like if Marriot's not performing, then we're basically down to Mason Bennett, which is not the worst option in the world. I'm kind of tempted to swap the two of them, even though Winnall did get that goal in the last game. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. We've still got plenty of time to make signings. Also a goalkeeper, maybe that's what we need. I think something towards the 80 mark in terms of rating might be the option, because with those kind of stats, realistically, are they going to save things against an ultimate quality computer player? But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. It's been an eventful one, that's for sure, with plenty of goals going in. So I think in terms of signings, we're just going to have a quick look at the transfer hub. Basically a central midfield. I'm going to get back the scout reports for a load of these here. Herrera's kind of the mould I want, but maybe something slightly stronger in like an Emre Can or a Bentancur. Victor Wanyama would be a great one. I don't know about the price though. Yeah, we'll wait until next episode. Bardi at 17 million realistically is going to be a little bit too expensive. I think potentially getting this Augustine for the next episode, that might be quite a good option, because as you can see there, he's already got 80 position in at least. It's just the diving and handling which aren't quite as good. But at least we've got the prices now for a lot of these players. I can kind of price up things and see what we can do in terms of manoeuvrability. Maybe Ollie Watkins, that could be the option instead of Vidra, who we get up top. but maybe Vidra's slightly cheaper. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So hopefully, guys, did enjoy this episode. Leave a like rating if you did enjoy it. Obviously, no signings, but I think plenty of options for us to do in the next episode. So hopefully, guys, did enjoy this one. Leave a like rating if you did enjoy, and see you soon. Bye.